Hello, how are you? My name is Matthew. You are in the moment. If you're joining this real quick off the bat, if you can hear this, if this is a good sound for you, just give me a thumbs up. Going to be in here real quick. Back to work. Here it is, a Monday, the 23rd day of February, and this is my post Olympic show. What just a tremendous 16 days of watching the Olympics from the comfort of my own home. There were some medals won that I'll share with you where I was when it happened. But I first want to start off by saying just a big hello to everyone who is perhaps watching this show via my LinkedIn profile page. It's always interesting to see who is doing the searches on my profile. Again, I'm doing my live show here. I upload it to my YouTube and just forward that URL to my LinkedIn so everyone can see what's happening. So let's get right into this broadcast. Again, real quick, going into work here. I'm going to make myself, I've been hankering for a large plate of French toast. So I'm going to be having some French toast before I go to work. So in here real quick. So here's the notes. This is what I jotted down within the last little few hours I want to share with you. There's like 5 or 6 talking points, and feel free to leave comments at your leisure. If you're watching this later at your leisure, I appreciate you getting caught up. You should know by now that there is a very powerful nor'easter heading our way. The notes that I have, we could expect to see snow here in the HRM around noontime, depending on where you are. 20 to 30 centimeters of snow possible, 90k winds. And with the wind chill, the temperature could be down to like -9. So the storm's going to roll in here within the next few hours. It's going to stay with us all day. It's going to stay with us into the overnight and into tomorrow morning. So it's going to be a very powerful, fast-moving storm. And I was messaging with one of the housing support workers for 902 Man Up last night. We were discussing the shooting that happened at the Green Road encampment, and I'll talk about that in just a couple of moments. But just let it be known that there is an emergency pop-up shelter today on the Windmill Road, and that's for those specifically, I would think, who are tenting in the Green Road encampment. I know lots of people. I don't know lots of people there, but one is too many. But I know for certain that there are people in tents at this very moment because I was speaking with one of those individuals last night. So the point of that is it's going to be a very dangerous few hours. So if you find yourself outside without shelter, or you know someone who is getting ready to experience this brutal winter storm head on, there is a emergency pop-up shelter, Windmill Road, being put on by 902 Man Up. Changing gears, there's no way you can pivot easily away from that conversation. I do like to start my shows talking about the weather, and today is no different. Just a big storm is on the way, so please, if you don't have to go out this afternoon, it's best advised to shelter in place. I want to talk about just the magnificent 16 days that I personally enjoyed. I can't speak for everyone, but with the 5-hour time difference, the timing of the games, and my work schedule, I was able to watch live Olympics on average 9, 10, 11 hours a day. I'm not even kidding you. Like when I crunch the numbers, because I do like to crunch the numbers, in that 16-day period where I was watching the Olympics, 16 consecutive days, I'm anywhere between 140 to 180 plus hours watched of the Olympics. I haven't enjoyed the Winter Olympics as much as I did when I was volunteering for the games out in Vancouver in 2010. So how did we make out? We ranked 11th in countries with a medal haul. We brought home 21 medals. We had 5 gold, 9 silver. I knew I was going to get those numbers wrong. You can Google all this information anyway. And I was quite surprised that I did hear that it was a disappointing haul for the Canadians. But again, going. This is my own personal experience. Being able to watch the Canadians in various disciplines win either a gold, a silver, or bronze was fantastic. The game where the women's Canadian curling team, when they won the bronze, I was on the ferry. That was Saturday afternoon. I was on the ferry going to Dartmouth to do an interview, and I was watching it on my phone on CBC Gem. It's just fantastic to see that moment live in the waters of Halifax Harbor. So again, thank you to CBC Gem for streaming all of that. Just fantastic content over 16 days, and to all the announcers who brought the games to us, describing it to us, and to the Canadian athletes who gave it their all. Just fantastic. Just the emotions, the tears shed here. My head almost hit the ceiling a couple times. Just, I cannot be and will not be disappointed with the outcome of the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan, Cortina. I'm just so proud of the Canadian athletes, and if you are a proud Canadian, you should feel equally as proud. Switching gears again, going back to heading over to Dartmouth on Saturday to interview the fifth and final individual that will be a part of the documentary being put together by Mariah Baker and Feed the Pigeons Films. I don't know if Mariah is watching this. Perhaps we'll do a show later tonight and do a split screen and have Mariah in here so that they can talk about their project. But I do want to let you know that 5 people have been interviewed. I've sat down with 4 of them, and I'm looking forward to this documentary. The time frame for that, when Mariah first started, it was sometime in March. Just a lot of B-roll footage, a lot of content to edit. So I will wait to have a further discussion on that project when I can do a split screen with Mariah. Going back to the Olympics, you know what made yesterday's, there were 2 things that really made the gold medal loss in overtime to the Americans a little easier, and my cousin Marcus Harvey said it best. When the Americans brought out the jersey, I think it's number 18, Johnny Gaudreau, who was killed along with his brother in 2024, allegedly by a drunk driver. I don't know where that court case is, but just seeing them bring that jersey out on the ice as they celebrated with the gold medal, as Marcus said, kind of took the sting out of the loss. My reaction was, we medaled, we got a silver. Of course, it's not the color that we want. But at the end of the day, our day continues. The sun will rise the next day. Our lives go on. And what made that loss a little easier was less than an hour later receiving 30 packages, 30 care packages, from Hugs, 2 fantastic ladies, Lynn and Rebecca, and everyone working behind the scenes, everyone making the donations. 30 care packages received here about 12:30 yesterday. And within 2 hours of that, Jen and I were walking into the city with 9 of those and handing those care packages out, which allows us just to interact with people who we may be seeing for the first time, or we see them every time we go into the city, every time that we travel down Spring Garden Road. But I did have the opportunity to, Jen and I both again out there yesterday afternoon. It was a beautiful day, handing out 9 packages, and we ran into Robin. So Robin is back in the HRM, and I'm going to leave Robin's email address up in the comment section. So the people who were out on the streets, they're only receiving like $400, no more than $450 a month. So I'm just going to put this out there. I'll put Robin's email out there. If you want to help in any financial way, Robin, I'm going to put the email address up there, and you can send an email transfer to Robin. Robin was hanging out with an individual who I have been watching travel through different parts of the peninsula for months. The individual who was, and I've told this story, there was an individual who just months ago was tenting across the street at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, tucked away in the shrubs, and I literally watched him move from point A to point B, take all his belongings up to the Barrington Street encampment. So I had a conversation with that gentleman yesterday, introduced myself. He kept calling me sir. I had to tell him, my name is Matthew. I got his name. And we just started this great dialogue. So I'm seeing just so many people who are struggling, and when you ask these people in real time why they're out on the street, one of the main reasons that they're out there is just the cost of living, rent. They just can't keep up with the cost of living. There's just so many different scenarios, but it was just really good to put a proper name to the face of this individual who I've been watching walk through the peninsula for months. So I'm glad that we're now on a first name basis. And I know the next time I see him, there'll be another conversation. Don't be surprised to hear his voice, to hear his story coming up. He already wants to talk. He already wants to share his story. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be live on my In the Moment or if it's going to be for radio. We're just trying to figure out and meeting up for a time to have that conversation. But I do look forward to having that conversation with you. Going back to the hugs, packages, just to everyone putting those together, thank you so much to everyone that is donating. You have no idea the difference you are making in real time. So I appreciate that. It's been a few days. It's been some time. And I'm going to close off with this. We're just not even 12 minutes into this broadcast. I said it was going to be quick. French toast isn't going to make itself. But I just want to talk about a few things that I've jotted down. These are some fun things, and again, you can play along. You can leave comments at any time. You can leave comments and play along. This is kind of like the whole point of this therapy for me. Again, I'm just looking at me, but you can have conversations back and forth. If I don't get back to your comments immediately, I try and respond. And some of my responses can be a little bit cheeky, depending what I'm responding to. I hope you had a great Valentine's weekend. I think the last time I was on here was like during that time. So I hope you had a great Valentine's weekend. Really good here. Had some Chinese food. The weather was okay. So just getting out anytime that I'm able to spend time side by side with Jen always feels like Valentine's Day. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know that one of the best things I like to do is be outside in nature. I love going down to Point Pleasant Park, go down and hear the sounds of nature, the wind rustling through the trees, the birds chirping, the chipmunks, the waves crashing on the shore, or maybe some sea lions. Yes, sea lions out on the waters of Point Pleasant Park. One of my favorite places to go in the city where it's nice and quiet. There are many, believe this or not, there are a lot of quiet cemeteries. There's a lot of quiet cemeteries, and there's one in particular off of Queen Street in the city that I like to go to. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was in there. Beautiful afternoon, and there was a bird that was probably 50, 60 yards away from me, and another 50, 60 feet up in this tree. Big tree, tiny little bird. And I was just sitting there quietly by myself, just mesmerized by the sounds that this bird was making. And no sooner that I had that thought that this bird just kind of zoomed down, and he was now in a branch maybe 5 feet above me. And he went off on a vocal, it was just a spectacular variety of tones and sounds that this small little bird was making. At one time it sounded like an alarm, like a siren, like it was just so magical what this tiny little bird, what he sang to me. And it felt like he was really singing to me. I swear it was at least a minute of nonstop vocal. Just amazing, just really just a beautiful thing to see. So I got that out of my mind, and then as I'm walking home, there's the crows, and the crows are just, you got to be very careful. Speaking of cheeky, crows can be very cheeky and sneaky. And as I'm walking home, not 200 yards away from the apartment here, whenever you're walking, it's always a good idea to, if there's crows on branches above you, power lines, it's always a good idea to know where they are and try and figure out what they're going to do. Because this one particular crow, as I'm walking, I'm watching him, and I watch him peck off a thick piece of ice that has been like frozen to this tree, maybe half an inch thick. but a good foot long, breaks off this piece of ice. Not only did he break it off this branch, he flung it at me. This crow, as I'm walking underneath him on the sidewalk, broke off a piece of ice off a tree branch, flung it at me purposely, trying to hit me. So I go from birds singing beautiful songs to birds trying to inflict damage to me. 15 minutes. Okay, just a few more fun things. If you ever get the chance to go to the Dartmouth side of the Halifax Harbor, I would strongly suggest that you go to the Dartmouth Commons. Just a beautiful area, just some beautiful views of the Halifax skyline. I was over there on the 16th, just took a quick ferry ride over, came right back. Yeah, Dartmouth Commons, just giving a shout out if you're in the area. The path is clear. They do a good job of that. That's the one thing I will say about the HRM. The paths and the sidewalks and the roads are generally clear fairly soon after a major storm. Well, we'll see how they do in the next one. The fencing that I was talking about up at the Barrington Street encampment, the one that they put up to keep people from, burning down the on-ramp, that's finished. So that whole area, there's 2 sections of fencing, but there is no way for anyone to go inside and set up a tent or burn that on-ramp down unless they went in there with a pair of, bolt cutters. If someone really wanted to go in and inflict damage on the on-ramp, if they were really hell-bent on burning that down, it can be done. Again, just a visual every day that you travel into the city of a mismanagement of funds. A couple of things we're watching on television. A couple of Stephen King. This is a really great mini-series. We're probably 5-6 episodes into season 1. Stephen King's Derry? Yeah, Derry, Derry. It's like the prequel to It, and just fantastic. And speaking of Stephen King, last week I believe they were filming some of the scenes for The Institute, which is also a Stephen King. One final thing, what I've seen with my own eyes in the last 24 hours, I'm quite certain that someone is set up in some type of tent tarp structure right outside the windows of Main Line as you're driving into the city. So interesting. Yeah, they may be closing encampments, but I have a feeling right now people are just, they are in the shelters at capacity. They're doing some couch surfing. They are wherever they can be. Hopefully they're not outside. Waiting for another winter storm. But I can tell you that there are people who are going to hunker down and wait out this storm inside their tent. Just because, for safety reasons. And it's just not always a good idea to leave your home in the middle of a blizzard, because you may not come back to home. So, you got to stay there and fight for it. There's so much. There's just literally so much that they're fighting for when a storm like this rolls in. I can already hear the windows of this place starting to rattle. So it's going to be a pretty intense 24 hours, 36 hours. So if you are inside, count yourself lucky. Okay, I'm going to reach out to Mariah Baker behind Feed the Pigeons Films. We'll have a discussion, and we'll try and do a split screen sometime within the next 48 hours to bring you up to speed on what's happening with that documentary. Okay, just before 11 o'clock on an overcast, waiting for another nor'easter to hit Halifax and the province of Nova Scotia. My name is Matthew, and you are currently caught up in the moment.